Maybe that was on there.
Good afternoon. This is Lance Christmas.
Hi there. I'm Karen Sircone.
And this is our weekly segment of Off the Wall Wednesdays where we talk about anything.
Anything.
So I know right now we're in the middle of Aunt Flo, Hurricane Flo. So my condolences go out to Karen. She's doing this segment with a heavy heart right now. She's got a property down there and it's weighing heavy on you.
It is weighing heavy on me. Yeah, my family's got a nice property, and we'll see if it.
Yeah,
see if it's still there.
Wish you the best of luck. She showed me some pictures of Atlantic Beach right now, and we pray for everybody out there, and all the stuff that's going on. So.
Yeah, hope everyone is safe.
Yeah. So today we wanted to discuss real estate topics. I know, like I said, we talk about anything, whatever comes to top of mind. We've been fortunate enough to work with a good amount of buyers over the years, and we've come up with some frequently asked questions. So we're going to tag team here. I'll ask Karen the question, she'll answer it, and then after she's done, she'll ask me a question, and I'll answer it, and we'll just try to do the best of our abilities. We have the questions written down. And she doesn't know where I'm coming at, and I don't know where she's coming from and what the answers are going to be.
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
You ready?
I don't know if I'm ready.
So,
we'll see. First
question. Do I need to talk to a lender before looking at a house?
I'll take that one. Because I definitely have strong feelings about this, because, yes, you should talk to a lender before you look at a house.
Why?
Because
there you go.
How do you know what you're looking for? I mean, you might love a home that's $500,000, but maybe that's not the price range that you're the most comfortable in being. Mm-hmm. If you talk to a lender first, you can get an idea. I mean, he might say that you can afford that $500,000 home, but you might not want to have a payment that high. You might go, oh, wait a minute, I'm more comfortable at the $300,000 range. Mm-hmm. Something like that. I mean, you really need to know where you're looking. If it also helps narrow down your search, mm-hmm. so that you're not all over the place searching for homes. Okay, I'm more comfortable between $100,000 and $200,000. This is where I'm going to stay, so that you're not chasing your tail all over the place for no reason.
Right.
And also, number two, when you put in an offer for a home, you need to have a letter from that lender to show the sellers of the home that you're probably okay for that amount of money. You're not totally approved yet, but it's not out of the question.
Pre-approval, pre-qualified.
Exactly. So yes, please talk to a lender before you start searching for a home, just so you know about where you are.
Right on.
In that process.
All right, your turn.
All right, let's see what I'm going to ask Lance. I might skip a few here and find a good one. All right, let's see. How long is the home buying process?
How long is the home buying process? That is a kind of a loaded question, because it could honestly be as quick as 30 days and it could be as long as 6 months. A typical transaction, which I'll just cover here, is between 30 and 45 days. Yep. So what it usually entails within that home buying process is all of your inspections, the contract process, and then we talked about being pre-approved or pre-qualified. You go through all your financing and things like that. So through that 30 to 45 days, you take care of removing all of your contingencies with inspections, appraisals, etc., and then you could pretty much close within that time frame.
So you'd say around 45 days.
45 days. I give yourself calendar-wise about 45 days.
Yep, I would too.
All right. So what is seller's concession?
Seller's concession. That is when a seller writes an offer on a home and they ask, the seller. That's when the buyer, I'm sorry, I am a little distracted today.
It's all good.
Sorry. When the buyer writes an offer for a home and gives it to the seller, and they ask the seller for maybe a little money, a little help with their closing cost. So when you're purchasing a property, you might have to put, depending on what kind of loan you choose, They all vary, but you're going to have to put some money down on your loan. Some loans you don't need to do that, but that's a whole nother, that's another Wednesday topic. So say you're putting down 3.5% for your loan. Well, then over here, you're going to have other closing costs for when you go to settle on that property. And that has nothing to do with the loan. And so it's a lot of money that you really need up front to purchase a home. So a seller's concession is when maybe a buyer asks the seller, I'll give you this amount for your home, but could you please give us back a certain percentage to go towards our closing costs to help us pay.
So it's a concession that the seller is giving to help the buyer.
Exactly.
That's cool. See, real simple.
It is
Big
simple.
word, concession, but it's a real simple answer.
Yeah, and it helps out. Sometimes it really is needed to make the transaction come together and work.
Right.
And so I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But okay, why do I need a home inspection?
Why do you need a home inspection? Well, here in the state of Virginia where we are, Virginia is a commonwealth. It's buyer beware. It's a nice fancy, I think it's a Latin word, or caveat emptor, meaning buyer beware. So there is no lemon law in Virginia. So you could actually purchase a house, close on the house, and find out you have a money pit with no recourse after the purchase. So you need to get a home inspection. You don't have to get it. If you work with us, we will highly, highly, highly recommend that you get one done.
Yes.
Especially if you're a first-time home buyer, things like that. But we will absolutely highly recommend that you get one because you're protecting yourself and your investment. So you want to make sure you get all the things taken care of, maybe the roof, the HVAC unit, all those things. So the home inspector, which in the state of Virginia, they have to be licensed to perform home inspections. I'm not sure how other states are. So if watching this across the country, you want to check and see if home inspectors in your state need to be licensed. But a licensed home inspector and insured will inspect the house and then go over things that we call deal breakers. Cracked foundation. Maybe the HVAC unit is past its shelf life but it's still functioning properly. What do you do there? Do you want to continue? So those are things. If it's too much for you to handle, you can actually void the contract.
Right. And a lot of times, I kind of like the home inspection because it will let my buyer know things that maybe they need to plan for in the future.
Yeah, homeowner maintenance tips.
Okay, your roof, it's not leaking, it's functioning fine, so it's okay, but you know what, it might need to be replaced in, the next, 3 to 5 years.
Right.
Or, just something like that. They can kind of help you plan your future in the home, what you need to plan for, save for, I think. That's why I like the home inspection too. They can find something that's really wrong with it at the moment, or maybe they don't, but they just help you plan for the future.
Yep. Sorry.
So what do you think?
My ADD kicked in, so I was trying to figure out what my next question was going to be.
We shouldn't have a list. It slows us down.
So, all right, check it out. I got this question the other day. When do we get the keys? Yeah, someone said, when do we get the keys?
Well, at Christmas.
I'm here.
No, so
did that really just go over your head?
It totally did. I was thinking of Christmas. Not Lance Christmas, sorry. You get the keys at closing. I had a closing this morning. And we actually closed at the house, at the property. And that was a lot of fun. So we walked through, we made sure everything was good in the property. And the title company who was handling the closing came to the property with all the paperwork, and we signed it right there. And right when she was done, they handed her the keys to the house. So as soon as you have signed the papers and the sellers, everybody's going to sign, you get the keys that day. It's yours.
There you go. Real simple question. So we only have time for two more questions. You have one, and then I'll finish up with the question, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right. Well, you were talking about the inspection contingency. What is a contingency? Like, what else is there?
Great question. Contingency. That's another one of those fancy words. But what a contingency is I guess I call it a gap in the contract that will allow you to handle certain things moving forward in the process. So you would have a home inspection contingency, meaning the house, you'll move forward provided that contingency is satisfied. Same thing with an appraisal, a financing, it could be a sale of home. It could be a couple things, meaning you'll move forward with purchasing this house provided these steps are satisfied. And contingencies can range. You could have 5 contingencies in a contract. You could have 1 contingency in a contract. You could have none.
What do you think a seller wants you to have?
A seller's going to want as least amount of contingencies as possible.
True. But we do suggest the home inspection contingency for
definitely.
sure. And obviously, if you're financing, you're going to have an
For
appraisal
sure.
contingency and financing contingency. But you don't want to go too crazy if you want that house.
Yep. So last question. What is an earnest money deposit? I have financing approved for no money down. Why do I have to do? What is earnest money?
Because basically the earnest money lets the seller know that the buyer has got some skin in the game.
Real
You know?
simply put. Yeah.
Are you serious? Do you seriously want to make an offer on my home, and you want me to take my home off the market for you to get your loan and do everything that you need to do, your inspections? You've got to show them that you're serious. So a lot of areas, Northern Virginia, it's about 1%, 1.5%.
About 1% of the sales price.
Yeah, the sales price. But sometimes around here, around Fredericksburg, you put down $1,000, or whatever you can put down, and you'll get that money back as long as you don't pull out of the contract for no reason. Mm-hmm. So when you pay your earnest money deposit, that needs to be up front with the offer, and either the buyer's agent, the brokerage, will hold the money in escrow, or maybe the title company will hold the money in escrow, and it will sit there until closing. And if everything goes along smoothly and you make it to closing, then that money goes towards the buyer's closing cost.
Right.
So if you back out for no reason, just say, I changed my mind, I want a different house, then the seller gets to keep that money because they did take it off the market for you and they gave you your time.
Which means you're in default.
Right.
So, and this will be, actually I lied, one more question. It'll be one that I'm going to ask the question and we both answer this. Why do I need a real estate agent? Karen was talking about the earnest money deposit, which made me think, a lot of times people watch HGTV and, DIY channel and all that.
They can do it themselves.
And they think they don't need real estate agents.
Yeah.
Well, another one of those words with friends words is fiduciary responsibility. Mm-hmm. And we have a fiduciary responsibility to help you move forward in purchasing the house, making sure you do get those contingencies in place, which a lot of people don't know about. Mm-hmm. Making sure we understand the contracts, which a lot of buyers don't know about. Making sure we're not in default.
Right.
You had mentioned the earnest money deposit. If we're in default, and I say we because when we represent our buyers, we're inclusive with them. Mm-hmm. You don't want to.
And sellers.
And
it's
sellers.
The same thing.
Fiduciary responsibility on whichever side of the transaction. So,
right.
And I'll let you finish up because I know I rambled.
No, where was I? No.
I don't know.
But it's true. And a lot of times I think a seller thinks it's a lot easier to handle the transaction. Like they don't realize all that goes into it and all the inspections and those contingencies and things that a lender will throw at a seller. There's a lot that goes on. It's a lot of different people, different pieces that need to come together and negotiate things and to get that to closing. And so much of it's done behind the scenes. So, and I think that's good. So a lot of people just don't even realize what goes on, the sellers and the buyers, because everybody's running around behind them getting it together. And and if you miss something, if you're doing it yourself and you miss something, it could be crucial. It could be
catastrophic.
I mean, either your house doesn't sell, or it sells, but you might lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or as a buyer, you might buy something that you really should not
Absolutely.
be buying.
So, well, I hope this was informative. If you guys have questions, things like that, just go ahead and respond below. And Karen and I will make sure we get back to you guys. The other thing we're gonna do is I can't remember my Twitter handle, so I think it's Coach 22407. I can't remember.
I think I'm at Sircone Karen.
Yeah, so it would be nice for us to have all of our social media information out there so you guys can connect with us. But just shoot us some questions down below. We'll be sure to answer you. And when we meet up back here next time, we'll make sure we have our social media so we can give it out to you. So.
Sounds good to me.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye now.